It's a beautiful city of Waikapu, Hawaii. Actually, it's a Maui in Hawaii.
Maui.
My name is Jong-woo Han. I am the president of Korean War Legacy Foundation. In my foundation, there are more than 1,500 interviews of Korean War veterans, not only from the United States, but also from other 21 countries that participate in the Korean War. We are doing this interview because, first of all, we want to preserve your memory, your direct witness of Korea, so that we can transfer this knowledge and the tradition of veterans to our future generations and educate our young generation about the Korean War, because Korean War has been known as a forgotten war, and so that we will make this interview into curricular resources for the teachers so that they can teach about the Korea when they're talking about the Korean War. It's my great honor and pleasure to meet you, sir, and thank you for sharing your story. This is beautiful. What is it? What is the name of street?
This is Monkey Pod Tree.
And so this is great, doing interview outside. Please introduce yourself. What is your name, sir?
My name is Royal George Vida.
George?
George.
Yeah.
G.
Vida. And what is the ethnic origin of this Vida?
What's that again?
The last name Vida. What is the ethnic origin of it?
The Vida is, my grandfather came from Chile. It's Spanish. It must be Spanish.
So this is a Chilean ethnic origin. Yeah. What is your birthday, sir?
1/15/30. January 15, 1930.
So you are now 91?
91, yeah.
Wow. You look great. Except that your right foot is broken. What happened to you?
I was digging in, we got a big garden in the back there. I was digging some big weeds. And when I put the pick underneath, the pick gave up and I fell backwards and broke my leg.
Oh. So when do you expect to recover fully?
In about another week or so.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
So you are almost there?
Almost there.
Okay.
I hope so. But the next x-ray will tell me if I...
Be careful.
Everybody tell me that.
Where were you born?
Born here, right in Waikapu.
Right here?
Yeah.
So tell me about when you were born here in 1930. It was a Great Depression, after the Great Depression. Well, how was it to live here?
Well, this was our land, yeah, and the cane field all the way around, except for us living in the middle of the cane field.
So it's a king's field
the
at
cane
the time.
field was right around the whole area.
Why was this land given to your family?
My great grandfather must have been a close friend with the king. King Kamehameha III, and he gave them the land.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you graduate high school from here?
Yeah.
What is the name of it?
St. Anthony High School.
Could you spell it?
S-A-T.
S-A-T?
Yeah, S-T.
S-T?
A-N-T-H-O-N-Y.
S-T-A-N?
A-N-T-H-O-N-Y. St. Anthony.
Okay, St. Anthony. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
St. Anthony High School.
Yeah.
When did you graduate?
1948.
1948. And after graduation, what did you do?
After graduation, I joined the army.
Right away?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you learn anything about Korea from the school at the time? You were
nothing.
Nothing?
No.
So you didn't know where Korea was in the map?
No.
No.
Well, actually, I joined the army because never have any kind of job over here. So we joined the army to go to the Far East.
So you wanted to go to Far East?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we ended up in Japan.
So where did you get the basic military training?
Right in Honolulu, Schofield Barracks.
Schofield.
Yeah.
And from here, where did you go?
I went to Japan.
Japan?
Yeah,
So when did you leave for Japan from where?
from Honolulu.
Honolulu?
Yeah,
When was it?
1948.
1948.
Yeah.
And what did you do then in Japan? Because there was no Korean War broke out at the time.
No, I got assigned to the 25th Division,
Uh-huh.
the 56 Combat Engineers.
56 combat engineer.
Yeah. That was in Osaka.
And Osaka.
Yeah.
Were there any special mission in Osaka? No, right?
No.
No.
It was a beautiful place, though.
Uh-huh. But you just stay there as occupier, right?
Yeah. For 2 years.
2 years. And so that when the Korean War broke out, you were brought to the Korea?
Yeah.
What happened? Tell me detail.
Okay, the war broke out on a Friday night. We must have been about 11 o'clock at night, and at that time in Japan we had a curfew. We had to be back in the barracks by 11 o'clock, and the first sergeant came up. The siren blew. They said there's a war in Korea.
Huh.
So after that, we had to go get all our equipment and get everything. And then a couple of days later, we went to the far part of Japan, the south part of Japan, Fukuoka.
Fukuoka.
Yeah. There we load up on a LST and went overnight into Korea.
So where did you arrive in Korea?
Busan.
Busan. What do you remember the date?
Must have been about July, between the 4th and the 8th of July.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was right in the middle of Nakdong perimeter battle. Busan perimeter, right?
No, yeah. At that time, the battle wasn't in Busan. Was way up in Tejon.
Tejon, yes, yes.
So we got off the LST. They put us on a train, and we went straight up to Tejon. But that's when the general got captured.
Yep,
General Dean got captured.
right.
So we went to Dagu, and then from Dagu to Guam, and then we went all the way back to Mason.
Masan.
Yeah. And we couldn't go anymore because the ocean was in the back of us.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then from there, we stayed a little while, and then the line broke, and we started moving back all the way up. We went all the way to North Korea, through the capital, and then up to the Yalu River. Yalu River, we stayed not too long, I think a couple of days, maybe 1 night or 2 nights.
Uh-huh.
And then the Chinese came in, and that was bad.
So you are just telling that we went Tejon, and then we went to Dagu, and then Wegan and Masan, and then going up.
Yeah.
But there must been a lot of battles there and a lot of dangerous situations. So
Yeah.
please tell about how was the situation in Tejon when you arrived there from Busan?
From Tejon.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we was outside of Tejon, and then we heard that the general got captured. So from there was really bad. Yeah. And
Did you engage in battle there?
yeah, but most of the time we was running. Yeah. So we went across into Guam. Yeah, Guam. We had one river. I know we had a hard time to get across. But see, I was assigned to a colored regiment,
Uh-huh.
all black. You know.
Oh.
And I was with the water purification. Make sure that the infantry get water. We stayed close to the infantry. you know. And then from there they just keep, we wasn't us, what you call, we wasn't into battle because we was only just like taking care of Japan. We had easy life, yeah. And all of a sudden this thing break out, and some of us never even know what was really happening, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So from there we went all the way back to Mason.
Masan.
Then in Mason, where we was in the close to the ocean, maybe about couple of yards away from the ocean, there's a big mountain in front of where we was, and the battle was on that side of the mountain, and the infantry gave up. We couldn't hold, but good thing for the artillery went hold. The 159 Colored Regiment, they hold, and that saved the whole thing.
Aha. What is the name of it? 159?
159 Field Artillery.
159
Yeah,
Field Artillery.
yeah. That's a 105, the small one.
Mm-hmm. And there was a colored unit.
Yeah.
So
colored.
all African Americans.
Yeah.
How was your relationship with them?
We were only 4 of us white. The rest, all the captains and majors, they was white. But they was okay. They, I don't know, they was kind of superstitious people. Yeah. Well, Hawaiians, we don't care, yeah? We do anything.
So you moved from Tejon to Dagu, Wegan, and Masan, and it was always like a withdrawal from, and North Koreans were all over, right?
Yeah.
How were they? They were good?
Well, they was okay.
Do you remember those scenes that you were withdrawing from Tejon to Dagu and so on? What do you feel like you are doing, thinking about it?
Well, we couldn't do nothing, eh? You know, the North Koreans was more, they was based in fighting, yeah? Our regiments and stuff was more easy going, yeah? Then they realized that the thing was happening, might have been a little bit too late.
So were you afraid at the time? Were you scared?
Oh yeah. I think everybody was
Everybody.
scared.
So how about Korean people? Do they also follow you from Tejon to Daegu, or what was going on there?
You know, I give those people credit. They wasn't big people, they're small people, but they used to carry with the airframe half of the house on their back. And they was always going, you know. Well, they was trying to get away from the battle and stuff like that, yeah. I feel sorry for them, but, you know.
Why? Why were you sorry for them?
You know, everything was happening. So a lot of people got killed there. You know, it wasn't their fault. Yeah, but everything happened so fast too, yeah.
Did you see many people being killed there?
Yeah.
Even the U.S. soldiers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
So, yeah. So when did you move up to North Korea from Masan? Do you remember?
Must have been about July 27, I think, someplace around there. We started to move up slowly, going all the way up to North Korea.
Uh-huh. And when you on the way to North Korea, did you stay in Seoul?
You know, we never went to Seoul. I don't know how. I know we went up, but how I don't remember that.
I see.
But we wasn't in Seoul until way after, in 51.
51.
Yeah.
So what was your specialty at the time?
water purification.
Water purification.
Yeah.
So what did you do actually to purify?
Well, we purify the water. We take water from the ditches. We take water from the rivers, you know, and we get this chemical that we put into the water where she purifies the water, and we get chlorine where we get a small instrument where we can take some drops, put them in the water, and then match that instrument with the water. I think we had to have 1.4 the reading on the water.
So then, after you purify the water, what did you do? Provide it to the soldiers?
Yeah, they send come down with the trailers, and we fill up the water, and then they take them back on the line.
I see. So it was safe after you purify it, right, to drink?
Yeah.
Were there any accident that people had the water which was not purified and have a diarrhea or so?
Well, I tell you, after we came back, from North Korea and Yalu River, in March of
51.
Of 51, we traded back from the Yalu River.
Right.
All the way through. And then we ended up in, I don't know what town or what place. And we stayed there, and then until they said we're going to take Seoul back.
Yeah.
So we were across the Yalu River, not Yalu River, the Han River.
Han River.
Yeah. So the division got all together, then we attacked. We took Seoul back. That's the only time I was in Seoul. Oh, I was up in... Yes. We was up in Uijeongbu.
Uijeongbu, yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, yeah.
Uijeongbu was, the only thing was standing in Uijeongbu was a small smokestack.
Go ahead.
You know, and there wasn't anything, no building except for that smokestack. So we stayed in Uijeongbu for a little while. Then they took Seoul back. We went from Uijeongbu. I forget. We stayed there maybe about 1 month or so. And then they called. They said that I could come home.
Oh.
You know, I had 1 year up already. So we went back to Seoul, and from Seoul we went to Eskom City.
Eskom City, yes.
Yeah. There's no Eskom City now, yeah.
There is.
Huh?
There is Eskom City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, from there we went to Eskom City, then Incheon. From Incheon, we went back to Japan. And then came home.
So when you went up to North Korea, and North Korean capital was Pyongyang, how was it? How was the battle there?
No battle.
No battle?
No battle. It was just an empty city.
Empty city.
Yeah. But that, to me, North Korea was kind of advanced because they had rail lines, you know. But nobody was around. So we went straight up from there, went straight up onto the Yalu River.
How long did it take to get into the Yalu River from Pyongyang?
Gee, I don't know.
Several days?
Yeah, maybe a couple of days.
Yeah. And then Chinese intervened. So when you saw, did you see actual Chinese soldiers?
Yeah.
How was it like? Tell me, please. Tell the young students.
Yeah, well, they came by the hundreds, yeah? You know, and whistles blowing and stuff. And we never really know what was happening when it happened so fast. Because when we was on the Yalu River, there was a bridge next where we were staying,
Yeah.
and nobody saw anything. But at the night, maybe about 10 o'clock or so, then everything started to explode,
Wow.
you know. And the next morning we was retreating, and had all kind of damages.
So when you retreated from Yalu River on the way back to Uijeongbu and Seoul, Korea, were there many casualties in your unit?
Plenty casualties.
So you saw many people being killed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was, I don't know, hard to say, yeah? Because you forget about stuff like that, but we cannot forget.
Right. You cannot. You cannot, actually.
You know, we asked the doctors, yeah, what can they do? They said, you cannot do nothing. It's implanted in the brain already, yeah? You know. And when I got married, I had my family. I used to get nightmares and stuff, yeah.
Oh.
And
so you have a PTSD?
Yeah, right now.
Right now?
Yeah, I finally got it in 2009, I think. Yeah.
So when you recover the Seoul, how was Seoul? How much was destruction?
You know, Seoul, when we had to walk through Seoul to get to Incheon or Escom City.
Escom City.
And the only thing I saw was standing up was a stone building. And somebody said there was a telegraph building.
Mm-hmm.
And no window. Everything was broken. The whole place was down. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. And then when we got to Escom City, had a school building where we stayed overnight.
How about people? How did Korean people live at the time?
Most of the time they was walking or finding some place to stay. Yeah?
Do they have a housing there at the time?
No housing.
No housing? Then where do they sleep?
Everything was leveled, you know. And, you know, a couple of times we stayed along the river or so, and you look up on a mountain, the way they keep the rice paddy, it was beautiful, you know. I mean, to me, I say it's beautiful, the way they managed to go from layer to layer all the way down, yeah. But they took a licking, those people. They really took a beating. They're trying to get away from the fighting and stuff. You know, I went back Korea.
When?
In 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when we went through Seoul, and I saw what happened, was beautiful. You know, me and my wife, the government paid for us, you know, and I think it was about 8 lanes where cars travel.
Yeah.
And my wife said, she was in a bus looking over, and she told me, I think these people are crazy. I said, why? They are about 8 inches apart, you know. she got all worried. You know, on Maui it's so free, you know. But they really build that place up.
When did you leave Korea?
July of 51.
July of 51.
Yeah.
And when you left Korea in July, did you ever imagine that Korea would become like this today?
No, you know what I said? No offense to you guys, but I said I'll never go back to Korea. I never, you know, because of what we went through here, that was enough for me. But I went back 2 times.
2 times? When was the second time?
2011.
Yeah. And
was more advanced again, you know. And I never saw any old cars around. So I asked some of the people. We stayed in a big hotel, yeah, right in Seoul. And they said it's shame to have an old car on the road. You know, they all everybody had one good car, nice car.
So how did you feel about it?
Oh man, I never thought Seoul would, Korea would come back that beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Everybody who went with us was all surprised, and they treat us so well. Yeah, even today, not too long ago, they sent me one box of
Mask?
masks. Yeah, the American government don't do nothing for us. But the Korean government, they really showed appreciation. Really appreciate.
Uh-huh. So you remember Seoul in 1951, and now you know Seoul.
Oh, like I said, Seoul was level, except for that one building that we passed by. And now, boy, Seoul is a big city. All those big hotels, and when we was crossing the Han River, when we was retreating from the Han River, they had to blow out the bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when we went, they get 28 bridges over there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all iron bridges, yeah.
So, as you just mentioned and emphasized that there are such beautiful new Korea came out of world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a very good story to tell our young generation. But why is it been known as forgotten war? Why is it forgotten war? Why should we forget about it?
They talk on the radio, they mention First World War, Second World War, they'll tell you about the Vietnam, but they never mention the Korean War.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know. They get something against us.
Do you think it's right to skip Korean War right after the World War II into Vietnam War?
I don't think so. It's not right.
Not right.
That's not right.
Yeah.
Many times we listen on the radio, they mention all the different wars. They never say Korean War or the Forgotten War. What we used to call them was police action. Police action, yeah.
Yep.
But why they forget about us? I don't know why.
That's why we are doing this.
Oh,
Young generation shouldn't forget about this war because that war was very, very important in world history, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it still is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's, for us, we appreciate the Korean government so much that they never forget us yet. Look how many years,
Yeah.
In fact, one of our two members that died in the last 1 week. Yeah, one just died last night, I think. But very hard.
Very hard. Yeah. So that's why we're doing this, and I will let you know about how your interview will be used in the classroom, okay?
Yeah.
Is there any other episode you still remember and you need to tell to the young generations of America? Your war experience. Tell me, please, something that you want to tell, but you missed yet.
I don't know if should be. I just telling you now, but when we got to Tejon and the general was captured, we had to move out, and we went not too far from the train station. They had 300 people dead. Some was hanged with barbed wire.
Oh.
So we had to go look at all those bodies find out if had any Americans in there, but it was all Koreans.
All Koreans.
All Korean citizens, not army. And it was, I don't know why they slaughtered like that. But I get one article came out on the Maui News about that. That was early part of July of 50.
Mm.
I still remember all those people,
Oh.
But had about 300 of them were slaughtered. Why? I don't know why.
Why? We don't know. I mean, that's the communism.
Yeah, innocent people, yeah. The communist is bad,
Yep.
And I give the Korean people now so much credit that what they went through and now what they get now,
Right.
I mean, they went suffer, the people went suffer, yeah. When cold is cold. Korea is a cold, cold country,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to go, we was close to the river, so we used to take hand grenade and throw them in the river, and we get fish, and we eat the fish. Yeah.
You like the fish?
Yeah, it was something like trout there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, with fish, the watermelon,
Yeah.
yeah, apples. Oh, the apples. We used to eat so much apples after that we get diarrhea. Yeah.
See, you're telling the very interesting stories now.
And pheasants.
Pheasants, yes.
Yeah, oh, pheasant. We used to shoot pheasant with the M1.
Uh-huh.
And you find, not that much, but you find some enough to eat.
Yeah.
And just dip them in the water, hang them on the truck.
Uh-huh.
So you get frozen on the ice box. Then after that, we put them in one can or something, boil them up and make something to eat.
Any other story that you remember? Working with the Korean boys?
We was always with the infantry. Yeah? So we no more too much time working with the Korean government, Korean soldiers. Most of the time was with American soldiers or the English and other countries. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell you one story you might not believe. We was water purification.
Yep.
And when we attacked Seoul, we was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We was pulling guard, and they was bringing all these Chinese prisoners across the river. And it was about 4 o'clock, so we made cocoa. The GI ration, they get a cocoa inside there.
Uh-huh.
Made cocoa from the river. And I got sick. Get that yellow jaundice like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not only me, maybe about another 15 of us was there.
Right.
All came down with the same thing.
Yeah. Because the water was bad.
The river was, probably had people dead in the river.
Yeah.
We used to take out people from the river.
Yeah.
But I never went. I wanted to go back to Wijambu, just to see how that place when, grow up, yeah. But when I went back 2011, something was wrong with the train, so I couldn't get back to Wijambu.
I see. I'm sorry.
I wanted to really see,
You're not going to believe your eyes. Yu Jong-bu has been transformed tremendously so that it's not like what you can imagine.
Yeah, like I said, there was a red brick, must have been some kind of smokestack or something, but wasn't that high, it was about maybe 8 feet high. And they had a twin river, small river in between. Very small, yeah. But that's all it was, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was around. I don't know.
So that is your legacy, that you fought for Korean people at the time so that they can rebuild their nation, and their economy is 10th in the world, number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be. I mean, they've been really developed. They work hard, you know.
Yeah.
I hope nothing happened, you know.
That's right.
I think this time they're going to be stronger yet.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see nothing now. Yeah. That guy up in the north, he's kind of crazy.
He's crazy. Yeah. So, Mr. Vida, it was very interesting because you were there in the very early phase. You were in Tejon and Dagu, Wegwan, Masan, and then go up to Yalu River and going back up to Korea, Seoul. So that you were in the very early phase, and there were many casualties, but you must have been lucky so that you survived.
You know, when we was going across the river, Han River, to take Seoul back, this guy came stand next to me, and we was trying to get this boat started to get across. We couldn't get him, and all of a sudden he said, "Oh, I'm hit."
Hit?
Yeah, he got one bullet.
Oh, what?
He was right next to me. Probably was mine, but he took it for me, you know.
Oh.
But the captain was all wild. He told, "Find your way to the medics."
Did he survive?
I don't know.
Oh.
But I think must have been on far away shot because never went through, and you could see only the fat like in right above the belly button.
I see. Wow. Could be you.
Could be, yeah. I mean, he was standing in the right. If he went one step off, then I would take him.
Yeah.
But I don't know the guy's name or what. Oh, you know, another story. We was in this river, and this guy came down with a half track. You know what is a half track?
No.
It's look like a truck but get wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard a noise, so I went up on the bank, and he saw me. He turned around, he came back. He asked me, "What we doing here?" I said, "Our job, take care of the infantry." He said, "There's no infantry." So we said, "Why?" They said, "You know, the Chinese infantry is walking down the road. And if it wasn't for him, we'd be dead."
Oh.
And I went to a reunion I don't know if it was in Korea. Yeah, no, it was in Vegas. And you know, that guy still remembered, and these guys came up to me and told me, "Hey, Roy, this howler guy looking for you."
Mm.
And was him. He the one that saved us, you know. So a couple of times I called him up in outside of Vegas, Arizona.
Yeah.
He live in Arizona. I don't know if he's still alive or what. But if it wasn't for him, we probably would be captured or be dead. Yeah, the Chinese soldiers was coming down the road.
Yep, there are so many dangerous moments that could have killed you, but you survived. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your fight for the Korean people, okay? And we'll make sure that this interview will be used in the classroom.
Yeah, it would be good, you know, yeah.
Yep.